Hey there, Cancer. Here is your monthly tarot card reading for the month of July 2022. I'm really excited because, Cancer, I've been doing some readings for you. So I just started doing astrological readings on my YouTube channel, but I've been doing readings for Cancer over on my TikTok. And I just feel like we've been talking a lot about you just stepping into this like bad A version of yourself and this part of yourself that you've had inside of you for so long. Just this part of you that's really owning, I think, your abilities and the assets that you possess and what you bring to the table. Essentially, I think you're finally realizing how much you bring to the table. Again, not to reiterate what I just said, but I really think you're finally getting it, and you're finally realizing that you deserve respect and you deserve payment, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be money. Sometimes it is, a lot of the times it is, right? But like, you deserve compensation for what you bring to situations, to work, to relationships, to conversations, to organizations that you're part of. I just think that you're finally asking for more, and not even asking for more. You're just simply asking for what you have always really deserved. And you're finally stepping into that. And I think ultimately you're loving it, but there's a little bit of hiccups along the way as happen with any sort of evolution or growth, right? So let's get into this. So we have the Queen of Discs, and I was already kind of speaking to this, right? What I was just speaking to is the Queen of Discs right here. So this, just you stepping into this new understanding of yourself of, I bring a lot of value to the table and I deserve a certain reciprocation for that thing, right? So we have this Queen of Discs. However, we have this Five of Swords reversed. And I think this is just this part of you that you're still tripping over yourself a little bit, right? So I think you may have actually stepped into maybe like a new job that pays you better, or maybe a relationship where you are respected in the way that you should be respected, or you've stepped away from some friendships and maybe have started to, build some new friendships that are feeling just like, again, more mutual. But I think there's a little bit of you kind of, again, feeling like, I really get this sense that it's like, who am I to have this? Who am I to ask for this, right? Because old habits die hard. Prince of Discs reversed. So there's this part of you that's still going to feel like, am I good enough? Am I qualified enough? Is this like, am I being too bold? Am I actually okay to ask for this? Like, I think questioning your qualifications, questioning, is it really okay to ask for this raise? Is it really okay to tell them I'm not available to do this, and, basically tell them that they need to do whatever they need to do for themselves? I don't know why I was just called to say that, but like, I get this sense of you just being like, no, I'm not doing that for you anymore. You can do that for yourself. Right? But like, I have this Prince of Discs. I think there's this little part of you that is questioning, is this okay, right? And then we have this Five of Swords. And again, I just see that as, is this okay? I think you're definitely having this question pop up. A lot of times it feels so good, right? You have the High Priestess here, you have the Queen of Discs. Sometimes it feels so good, and you've never felt more, honestly, in love with yourself in a great way. There's nothing wrong with being in love with yourself, by the way. I think like we're taught, oh, don't say you're in love with yourself. That's so fun. Like, no, like there's nothing. I wish more people would fall in love with themselves, right? And I think that's what's happening to you right now. The High Priestess is indicating this. You are falling more and more and more in love with yourself, right? But I think there are these parts of you that, again, you're kind of like, oh, what does this person think of this? Like, and again, I think it's a little bit of worrying about the judgment of people thinking, who does she think she is? Who is she to do? And I don't know why I'm saying she, by the way. You could also be a he or a they. But she just keeps coming up. There's a lot of feminine energy here. That's probably why I'm saying she. But again, whoever you may be, I think you might have some people, or you're feeling like, I think is actually the better way to put it. And you have this Justice card here, and I think it's saying like they might be saying that and they might not, but it doesn't really matter because the karmic scales are tipping, and they are, things are working themselves out, and it doesn't really matter what they're saying, right? Like it's just, you just have to keep following your path. So when you're really in your head about things, right? Am I qualified? Is this okay for me to be doing all this? Is it okay for me to be asking these things? You just keep showing up and you just keep doing it because it's the way that your life is going now. And this Five of Swords energy, right? This anxiety about what people are saying. It's just that. I just said this in another video for my Virgos. Anxiety is just that. It's anxiety. It's fear. It's our mind chatter. It doesn't mean it's real. And again, I think that's, that is going to happen. There's always going to be a little bit of kickback when things, again, this is the Justice card, when things actually start to be fair, and that means that the scale tips the other way for other people, right? So maybe people that have been taking advantage of you, now their scale is tipping down a little bit, just evening out, right? It's just evening it out. But they're like, hey, I was used to having the upper hand. What the heck, right? So can you just keep that perspective in the month of July? I really think like what this top row is saying for you here is to just keep continuing to go in this direction of trusting yourself and of taking the action that you have been taking that is making you feel so good and falling in love with yourself again. And I could take a bet that there are people that are falling in love with you. Now, they might not be romantically falling in love with you. They might be romantically falling in love with you, but I have a feeling that you're attracting new people into your life, or maybe people that have already been in your life are seeing you in this new way, because it's this confidence that is exuding from you, and it's beautiful and it's exciting and it's energetic and it's magnetic. So just keep doing that, and just know that this other stuff where you're worrying if people are saying things about you and wondering if you're qualified enough, this Five of Swords and the Prince of Discs reversed, it's just kind of all part of it. It's just kind of part of it. And in fact, it actually shows up that way in this reading. We have Justice in the middle. So it's like literally the balancing of the scales. And then we have the Prince of Discs reversed on one side and the Five of Swords on the other side, literally saying to me, things have been so out of balance in your life for so long. You have been so undercompensated and underappreciated for so long that things have to tip back, and with that is going to come, again, as I said, people, having some pushback and you doubting yourself. That's all just part of the equilibrium. That's just all part of the process. Okay. So as we're walking into July, what do you have to do? You just have to keep doing the things that have gotten you here to feeling good. And also know that some of this residual BS is literally just part of the process. Again, when things start getting fair and when people that deserve better start to get what they deserve, other people that weren't treating them very well, right? Or other situations don't always like that, but it doesn't mean their fussiness, right? Doesn't indicate that anything is wrong. Really, the Justice card showing up upright like that is like, nope, everything is happening exactly the way that it's supposed to be. King of Cups reversed here. So in our second row, we have the King of Cups reversed. So I have this feeling that, again, you're kind of almost such a new version of yourself that you don't recognize yourself anymore, and it's freaking you out a little bit. Because again, it's making you question, am I being arrogant? Am I being aloof? Am I being pompous? Am I, forgetting where I came from? Am I being too proud? Like, whatever, right? Should I not be acting this way? just know that when you have such rapid growth, right? And I think your growth was just so quick that, again, like it can take you emotionally, right? King of Cups talks about really emotional mastery, but it's reversed. So we're not quite there yet, right? When you grow so much exponentially, it takes your emotions and your kind of default emotions, right, some time to catch up. So that's okay. If you're feeling shaky, if you're questioning yourself, again, just know it's all part of the process. 8 of Discs reversed. You're just in the middle of a process and there's nothing to do. Like, there's really not a whole lot for you to do here, but to just keep doing it. I want to show you this as well. Princess of Swords reversed again. I think this is coming at reverse because it speaks to, I think every single time you're faced with another decision that is kind of asking you to step into this next level of yourself, to ask for more for yourself, to demand more respect, right? To ask for fair compensation, to have proper boundaries. Every time you're faced with the situation, it feels heavy, right? So the sword, it looks to me like she's kind of like, okay, I got this, but I'm also like, it's a little heavy here. And actually, I just noticed, okay, she's walking down a road. Interesting. So she's kind of like in a desert here, which is, I've never really noticed that. So again, like there's a sense to this where every single time it might feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do this again. And the answer is yes. But every single time you do it, you build a muscle, right? Like every time you swing a sword, your arm becomes stronger and eventually it doesn't feel so heavy. I don't know how many of us are actually swinging swords anymore, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's like, it's gonna still feel weird and it doesn't mean you stop. It means you actually keep going. It's so funny. Whenever I go to the gym, I don't have the greatest form when it comes to like squats and lunges and things like that. And I'm always like, well, maybe I'm not meant to do these. Like maybe I'm not meant to do lunges. Maybe I don't have the body for lunges. And I'm like, no, you don't have the muscle composition. Like this is why you're doing lunges, so that you can have better form, so that your lunges get, like, you do lunges so that your physicality becomes stronger and you're able to do lunges in a better form once you've built the muscle. And I'm not like an exercise scientist, a personal trainer or anything like that, so I can't explain exactly what's going on, but I think you know what I'm saying, right? It's like if I just went to the gym and was like, I can't do lunges, but then I never did them again, well, then I'm still never going to be able to do them. The way that I start to learn how to do them or do them better or improve is by doing them. And that's exactly where you are right now. I really think the month of July for you is kind of uneventful in that you don't have to do anything new. You just have to keep going. I think all the hard legwork of maybe leaving the relationship, quitting the job, ending the friendship, whatever you did, you've done that. I think this month of July for you is kind of low, and it's kind of, it's kind of like low key, but it's still really important for you to remember that you just have to keep practicing and building this muscle of, again, setting those boundaries, asking for what you need, asking for what you deserve. With that, the last thing I wanted to show you, or the last card that came up, was the 5 of Cups. I actually want to show you, I just pulled out one more card because I felt like it. So I'm going to show you this one and I'm going to show you one other card. So you have the 5 of Cups, okay? And this is if you look at this card, it's very much a card of grief and a card of overwhelm. And you have 2 5s that came up in this. And 5 a lot of time talks about a lot of commotion and kind of chaos. 5, the number 5, especially in tarot, is kind of just like where things start to get to be overwhelming, too much, a little bit of like, I need help, right? And I think this is coming up both to tell you that this process of really, again, being who you've always been, right? Cancer, I think you've always been this really, everything that you have coming to you, you've deserved for so long. It's well overdue. And you've been this person for so long, right? But you're finally just owning it like on the outside for other people to see. But with that can come a lot of grief, right? I think a lot of times what I've heard from people specifically is like, how did I let myself get taken advantage of for this long? How did I let myself, not ask for what I needed or what I deserved? Or how did I stay in this situation for so long? And I don't have the answer for you. I want to acknowledge that that's okay to feel that way, because I've heard it from many other people, and this card is coming up, which I think is just validating that it's going to be part of the experience. But I would just like to offer that, we're not meant to be perfect on this journey of life, and it was a lesson. And that's it. There doesn't need to be some great philosophical answer to why you did that, or why, maybe you let things go a certain way, or, you didn't ask for the raise or leave the relationship earlier or whatever, right? Whatever your situation is, you could analyze it till the cows come home. But the truth is you did it, and that's okay, because you're a human and you're living a life and you're experiencing things and you're making mistakes. And, I don't even know if there is such a thing as a mistake, right? It's just a choice that you made that taught you a lesson. That's it. And now you're in a different stage, and it feels really good, and you feel really good. And know that sometimes with all of that change, it can be emotional, and that's okay. And I think like the chaos that you're feeling is all right. Yeah, it's really all okay. I just pulled out 2 more cards for you. The Magician and the Judgment card. So I'm going to leave you with this, Cancer. I love this Judgment card. Look at this. This is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I think this is just saying like you get to decide what this new beginning means. I think you're really in a time of new beginnings, and I'm getting a sense of like you have a greater message. You have something to share with people. You have something that can help people. Your story and what you've gone through and what you've transformed into, right? And like just your whole transformation process, it's your gift. It's actually a beauty and a light that you can bring to the world. And just remember that. So know that like the sadness and the doubt and all of those things are part of it, but also part of it is feeling really freaking good, feeling a new sense of self, feeling like you want to help others that are in a similar situation. And you get to decide that at any moment, okay? So if you have like a little calling, I just feel like I have to say this, the Magician and the Judgment card. If you have a desire to speak on a stage, start a podcast, start a TikTok, start a YouTube channel, write a book, this is your sign to do it. That's it. Like if you've been waiting for that sign to get started and get started now, okay? Stop waiting. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your message is not for everyone, but the people that need to hear the message, it's perfect for them, right? So, but I think if you needed that little bit of permission, here it is. Keep going, my loves. You're doing great. Remember, all the feelings in this are valid. And this month, just keep doing you. Keep doing the things you've been doing. But also, if you've been thinking about starting that book or reaching out for some speaking engagements or doing a TED Talk, you need to go do that too. Okay. Love you so much, Cancer. Mwah. Hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon.